So for me, I knew I always wanted midwifery care, and that was very important to me. We moved from New York City 3 years ago, and there's not a lot of midwifery care over there in New York City. So when I first moved here, I started doing a bunch of research and looking for birthing centers. And as soon as I found Origins, I knew that was the place to be, right?
Well, as the provider for my family, as the caretaker for my family, you know, I asked a lot of questions. And I think in the healthcare space, at least in my experience, sometimes those questions aren't answered, they're ignored. You know, you kind of feel like a burden sometimes. And I remember that exchange at Origins where I was very inquisitive and I wanted to know so much because I didn't grow up knowing. And so as a young couple, we weren't sure exactly where to go and how to do it, how to go about it. And so I remember feeling as a man, as her husband, that this is a good place for us to do this journey because you guys were patient with me. You heard me, you answered my questions, and even when I kept having questions, you didn't shy away or run away from my questions, but you were like, yeah, and you heard me and you answered them. And so for me, that was a confirmation of like, this is where we're safe. This is a good place to have this process.
I wanted a very peaceful birth, right? I wanted the Holy Spirit to be there. I wanted my husband to be there. I wanted the people that I mostly love to be there. And it happened, right? Although I did not end up giving birth in the water, but I felt so supported. I felt so loved. And most importantly, like I said, as a woman of color, I felt believed. I felt as if I were to say something, if there was something wrong with me, no one was ever gonna question me. They came to, you know, the midwives came to my care. And that was very important when I was not only in my prenatal care, but in my labor and most importantly, postpartum care as well. Do you want to go?
Sure, yeah. Well, I remember from our first appointment to our last appointment, there was constantly this tangible care, this compassion, this patience. And you know, when you work with people, there's a sense of shepherding that needs to happen. If you want to lead them well, you don't want to just expect them to get to the destination. You want to walk with them. And so Origins does this so beautifully. They know how to shepherd people and walk people through the process. And so I think for me, it wasn't just one moment where I knew, it was every single appointment. I knew that we're going to be partners to Origins and the staff. So
yeah, and for me, there were so many moments, right? One significant moment for me was even before I stepped into Origins, and when I called and the receptionist picked up the phone call, and she just loved on me so well through the phone that once I hung up, I said, I need to go here. Like, there's no way that I'm gonna hate this space. And the moment I walked in, I mean, it was just, from the moment I walked in to the moment where I met everyone, there was constant care. He ended up coming 38 weeks and 6 days, which was, you know, I mean, I was full term, and thank God it happened, but I was not excited that day, you know, because I was really scared. And I remember just calling my midwife, and she prayed over me and she affirmed me. Ooh. So I was so nervous because I didn't know what to expect at the point, you know. I was so scared. I felt like everything I learned kind of went out the window, but she called me and she affirmed me and she loved on me and she promised me that my birth was gonna go exactly the way that God wanted it to go. And it was just so beautiful. And like I said, although it was intense, I labored for 30 hours. He was not turning. He was very stubborn like his mama. But even having that conversation and that phone call, that for me, any other provider would have freaked out and just sent me to get a C-section, you know, but they walked through that with me, and it was emotional.
In the room where it happened, so to speak, she was maybe 20 hours in to now what we know as a 30-hour birth and or labor, and 10 hours to go, and we knew like labor fatigue was coming for her, and we just didn't want her to give up. And so I remember holding her hand and getting in her ear and saying, babe, like, you got this, you're powerful, you're beautiful, we're better together. And those last 10 hours, I know she doesn't remember them, I don't remember them, but they were a powerful reminder for me that even in the moments where you feel like you have no role to play, if you step up and play that small role that you do have to play well, it can add value to the moment. So I'm so proud of her. I'm just so proud of her. So to Origins, again, as a young couple that didn't know what we were doing going into this, and it was like a whirlwind for us, I just thank y'all for being our anchor, for being, again, a consistent reminder of what love looks like, of what shepherding looks like, of, peace in the storm. And so thank you for being that constant reminder. We're so grateful. Looking back at our pregnancy experience and the birth of our child, we do not know how we could have done it without Origin. So thank you so much. We're better because of y'all. So thank you.
To Origins, I'm just so grateful that you cared for me. I'm grateful that you believed me. I'm grateful that you empowered me to do exactly what my body was meant to do. I will forever be indebted, right? Indebted of just your service and your love that you have given me. I have no way on how I can repay you guys. I thank you for using your experience to guide us and to lead us, and most importantly, to mother me, not only prenatal care and postpartum and during my labor, but just till this day, your constant reminders that I am powerful, that I am worthy of to be Levi's mom. I'm just so grateful. I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you so much for giving me my dream birth. Thank you for walking through the things that you have gone through in life to help us. Thank you for your yes. Thank you for starting Origins, because if it wasn't for Origins, I couldn't imagine any other way that we would have brought Levi to the world. So I thank you for giving me the freedom to be myself in your space. Thank you for loving my family, and thank you for being my family.
That was fire, man. Good job.